You sit on top of each other.
Perfect. Perfecto. You hit that light. Anytime I see I look a little dark, I'm like, that's because it's dark in here.
I got it.
I was like, listen, I know I'm a nice chocolate complexion, but this, there we go. Shine the light on me.
You dark, bro.
We the same complexion.
I'm dark. I'm dark, and I'll embrace it.
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying. I need the light to actually show.
Huh? Oh, sure.
We take turns. I actually wore mine, I think, like a couple weeks ago after school all stars.
It's a rebound thing. You not know that.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's what I'm saying. I can't knock it.
I can knock it.
But we still support people with
I don't.
We are live on Instagram.
the competitive mentality
I
here.
don't.
I don't work there no more. I want no parts. Like Pat Bev when you leave a team.
This is your water.
I mean, you don't have to take the label off. No free sponsorships from me. We'll get there. 200 plus listeners on Podbean. Slowly but surely climbing up the ladder. We certainly appreciate those who, take the time to follow us on Podbean. We need that same type of love and interaction across all platforms.
It is.
Try and get to 300.
Let's go to bio.
Yeah.
Link is on.
Yeah, we definitely need that. Need that.
Well, welcome to another episode of Above Average Black Men. Yours truly, Chris Spender Sr.
Chris Jr., as always, here to empower, inspire, and uplift the community.
Devin Pender here to remind you to like, follow, subscribe, share, and comment. Like you said, we want an interaction across all platforms.
Yeah, we want to continue to grow. I missed out on a memo here. I just noticed that everybody here got a Dewey on but me. I got my hair out. What's going on? Y'all didn't tell me. Y'all did not tell me.
Gotta go get it tightened up Friday, man.
You supposed to cover up tonight?
Gotta go get it tightened up Friday, man.
But welcome, everybody. We're here for another exciting episode of Above Average Black Men. I'm ecstatic a little bit for tonight's topic, just because I feel like it's a mentality out here that I feel like is plaguing us at this point in time. We certainly didn't grow up on that mentality, but I feel like there is a lot of people who want maximum, out of just life with the limited effort, And we mentioned within our title of this show here is a lot of people who have this lottery mentality. And there's too many people who just want what is, I would say, kind of success, money, all types of different things without necessarily putting in the work or not even really understanding the work that's required or goes into, what it takes to be successful. I think people just kind of see a bigger picture or a finished product at times, and they just think that is that simple and that's that easy.
But I think, and what's up, Shorty V, for chat. We appreciate you sounding in.
Shorty V, appreciate you.
No, I think, I think some of them do know what it takes to make it. I just think we live in a time now where everybody wants shortcuts. So everybody sits back and they think they're the smartest person in the world now. And I mean, there's some people who don't know, but there's a lot of people who, when you talk to them, they just think I'm going to find the shortest way to do this.
So do you think it's a lot more that do know versus those who don't? Because I feel like, in this day and age of, again, social media, everybody just kind of sees what people are posting, like the flashiness of it all. And they just think like, boom, instant, I can get that too. Like for people who want to be, they want to be viral. They want to have just those quick moments. And they think that, once I go viral here, it's going to take me over the top. It's people who they go viral and then they just fall back to obscurity.
There's always a group of people who lack common sense. And I say that because
a lot more than not.
There is, but there are also And I don't know the percentage, but there's a lot of people I encounter who they know what it takes. They just think they're the smartest person. They're going to find a better way to do it.
Mm.
You know, I'm going to invent a better mousetrap. You know, you'll sit down with them, like, for instance, I say it all the time. You heard me say it before. People will come to me and say, hey, how do I do what you do? You know, I want to get out, I want to speak, I want to do workshops and stuff like that.
And when you get into it, they're like,
and then I sit down and explain to them what it takes. He's like, oh, yeah, but what about if I did this? You know, what about if I did this? Like, for instance, I'm talking to somebody and they say, okay, I said, look, you know, how did you get started? I said, well, my first couple ones I did for free, you know, because I had to get my name out there. And then I built my price up. You know, I kept, you know, more I got my name out there, the more I did, I would increase my price. You know, and I will watch the market, see what other people are getting. I will compare my talent, but also recognize that if somebody's out there longer than me, you know what I mean, they got a little better track record.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and what about if I do my bio? What about if I send a recording to myself? No, I'm telling you, that's all nice. But people want to see you live and in person. And even if they don't know you, they love your recording, but they're not going to pay you top dollar.
Yeah.
Nah, man, but if I do this and I do that, or you know, if I know what I'm worth. Yeah, but you're not the one writing the check. I hear it all the time. I know my value. Okay, I know a lot of people know their value, and they still not in this business. You know, because it's not just, you know, you do know your value, and that's your goal to work up to. And then you get, you know, some who, you know, nah, man, you know, it don't take all that. So I mean, I think it's an even mix, but I come across more people who just think they're going to find a shortcut.
Yeah. So I want to speak to, I guess, the lottery mentality. I would love to hear from both of y'all, like, kind of, what are your views and perspective on that? And, like, what do you think that means and what does it look like? So, Dev, if you want to kind of start yourself, man.
When I hear lottery mentality, it always just brings me back to the get rich quick kind of mentality, you know, making some fast money or some quick investments here and there, and then nothing that ever really comes to true fruition. The lottery mentality is literally what you're saying, like winning the lottery. But if you look at those people, does it truly really last for those people?
Put in 5 to make 5 million, like,
you know. So that's what I hear, and it's not really a positive thing because, like you said, you don't really see those people grind. Like you said, going viral. People think, oh, I could do this quick thing that may be funny in the moment, but no one's gonna remember 15 minutes from now.
Yeah, and then even I before I get to you, Dad, with the lottery mentality, I think for me, I kind of look at it in terms of like, what are you willing to invest, and what are you invested in? You know, like again, lottery, get rich quick. That's what people are thinking. Same thing when it comes to maybe even their personal goals. It's like you gave an example of people who want to maybe even get into workshops. They're looking for angles or ways where it's like, all right, how do I skip the grind and just get to the payday?
How do I skip the free part?
Yeah, like how do I skip the grind and get to the payday? And I think there's far too many people, probably more than there has been ever before, I think, where they just want to get to the finish line quickly. And they don't necessarily see the work that it takes, or that sometimes you may have to invest into yourself before you even can think about investing into something else or somewhere. Like, again, we're using that example of the lottery and, like, you know, 5 for 5 million. I think people got to take more of that approach of like, all right, man, how about I take that money and put that into myself? Because that can lead to something a little bit more fruitful and beneficial or long lasting. Like the getting there quick is not always going to be the most rewarding. Like, that is short term. I feel like if people change their mentality and take that approach of, like, you know, the slow grind, you can build something that's long lasting. You know, I feel like far too many times, even we see it in music now, where people, it's a lot more one-hit wonders out here. You know, like, they making one song, they happy to be in that moment and have that little popularity, but they're not thinking about, oh, what's my next song gonna be? What if my next song's not that good? What other ways can I make the most of this moment? It's literally just kind of that mentality of like, let me just get here and I'll figure it out.
But the lottery mentality is there's individuals who just like the lottery.
And they lose it all.
I'm not going to, instead of me sitting down and strategically planning something, instead of me sitting down, you know, figuring out ways that, and it's in sports, it's in life period, to be the best version of me, whether it's financially, whether it's athletically, whatever it is, you know, I just want to take the quick fix. So the quick fix is I play the lottery because I'm going to get rich. So I'll pay $20 a week, and I've been doing this for 40 years. You know, and so to me, it's the person that wants to put the least amount of effort in, but they want the maximum return. It's like when I give for example, when I was in college, people say, man, well, you know, how'd you learn how to play defense? And people was like, yeah, you know, Well, you got to, first, yeah, the defense part is cool, but part of it is being able to have a stamina to keep running, so I had to be in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you cheating on the drills. You cheating on the 2-minute drills. You consistently come in the middle of the pack. When you're supposed to do this, in practice, because he's trying to build up stamina, you taking the shortcut.
Yeah.
You picking the worst guy in practice to guard. The guy. So, and that's just sports, but it's the same thing. And I talked about workshop. It's the same thing. You talk about investing. And it's okay. Well, I don't have disposable income. Well, you do. Okay, this is how you do it. List everything you spend. And they list down stuff. Okay, well, you don't have to go out to dinner every Friday. So even if you only went out twice a month and you bite those other 2 months, that's disposable income.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, but that's gonna take too long. Yeah, but you've been playing lottery for 40 years.
And you know what's crazy? And that was actually the point I was gonna make with this lottery mentality, is that how much time and money people waste. You know what I mean? Like, you could have saved that money and invested that money, and it's actually become something else, versus you taking this gamble on something that's not even guaranteed.
But we live in a time now where it's about instant gratification. People want instant gratification, and again, it's in every area. People they don't want to take a job at the entry level. They want to take a job making $100,000 a year. Forget they don't know squat.
But we know
I want them, but I just, because they want to skip past the learning part. They want to go right to the management part. Like right now, I have difficulty hiring people because they think being a boss or being a supervisor or a director means you just tell people what to do. You don't work. They never comprehend. They never grasp the part that, you lead by example. Why? Because they want to skip past the training part. They don't want to be under somebody who's teaching them how to lead. We talked about finances. We talked about sports, but it's in marriages. A lot of marriages end quickly because people don't want to invest the time in it to get the fruit out of it. They think, I'm gonna get married, man. Honeymoon's we're gonna go right from the honeymoon to good times. They don't want to do the work part.
No. So I have a question for you guys. Like, how do you think that lottery mentality impacts our culture or society today?
It's for the negative.
In what area?
I mean, like, you could think of anything, honestly. Like, it's.
I'll start with civil rights. I think civil rights and social justice, to me, is one of the biggest travesties because we want the instant gratification because we want to go out there and march and expect everything's going to be over just because we marched. We don't want to vote. We don't want to go out there and try to get legislation changed. We don't want to challenge the lawmakers, black, white, or whatever, to do it. We want the instant. We want to go out there and march, and everybody's going to see us march. It's all we just going. It don't work like that. So I think that's where it hurts us as people the most. I mean, we look at our schools, we got the worst schools. Why? Because we don't want to fight the long fight. We want to go to one meeting and protest and make a lot of noise and expect them to fix it. We don't want to go to multiple meetings. We don't want to do, multiple protests. We don't want to demand that our politicians, we want to do the one thing. We want to pass a petition around.
Yeah.
And then if nothing happens in 6 months, we complain. Why sign a petition? Is we don't have the stick-to-it. We don't have the tenacity, to fight those fights.
Yeah, and I think kind of a different approach or view of the lottery mentality. There are like the people who, like, maybe they get a little taste. You put in that $5 and you win 20. You know what I mean? And that keeps you happy for now or within that moment. I think the same probably applies for when people protest. They happy to come together. They happy to see us out there taking pictures, almost to the point where they don't care if there's really any real resolution from that.
Well, real change takes an investment.
Yeah.
And anything sustainable that's worth having, is not coming with instant gratification. And no matter what area of life you're in, you guys became the athletes you are because you put the work in. You didn't wake up one day and say, man, I'm going to be this athlete just to say, no, you put the work in and you got better over a period of time. And your professions, you're putting the work in. So you can get to the point where you are. And that's the part that we don't understand. I go back to social justice. Martin Luther King's birthday is coming up and it's huge. But, we've regressed and not progressed because we don't want to put the work in. People don't. Martin Luther King, he set the blueprint. He set the blueprint. Like, you heard him in the pocket. He boycotted the bus system. They didn't change because they felt sorry. They changed because they were losing money. Because all the black folks was riding the bus and they weren't riding the bus no more. They were like, we losing money doing this. So the same blueprint works today. The problem is, we do it for a week, but we ain't doing it. We ain't boycotting, Popeyes for a month. We ain't boycotting Chick-fil-A. I gotta have my Chick-fil-A, man. I'll give it baby. Yeah. I mean, and they know it, so they just wait us out. They know it. They just wait us out. because we don't have solutions, because we got the lottery mentality, because we want instant gratification, we want instant solutions. We want everything
With
to turn on
minimum
for
effort.
right now. We have minimum with no effort. Oh man, well, hey, Kristen Devon was down there last week. What I got to go down there for? And we do. It's like same thing. I use it in finance. We buy stuff we can't afford because instead of buying gradually building up to it, we go for it, and we say I deserve it. What? Instant gratification. And now, but I can't afford it, whether I deserve it or not. But instant gratification. So I think it goes back to, to me, it goes back to a dream that we were sold. In every era, because when they promised the 40 acres in the mill, I think that kind of started.
And I was going to ask that. It's like, man, where do you
started.
think things kind of started or stemmed from? And like, when was this drastic shift? Because I do feel like, there was a point in time where people just we all had that mentality.
We worked hard. We worked hard.
I'm going to get this no matter what. I know what I got to do. It's countless hours. It's late nights. I think about like kind of me myself growing up and you watching, just being a sports fan, Kobe Bryant, like the Mamba mentality. You hear about that. You hear about like crazy workout stories from Michael Jordan and like people who like put in way more hours than anybody else could even imagine or think of. And it showed in what they did.
Malone was probably least athletic center in basketball. Probably couldn't jump over a soda can, man. But he led the league in rebounding, man. He won the championship. Wow, because he understood position. And what Moses said, he wasn't going to be outworked. And if Charles Barkley tells you the story where he has Charles Barkley ask him, why you not playing? Because you fat and you lazy. But that's Charles tells the story because you got to keep working. And for instance, I use basketball. Some people make it to the NBA and they got the lottery mentality. They make it and they think I'm in now. I don't have to do anything else. And next thing you know, they're out the league in 5 years.
And I hate to call out some names, but I feel like that about Ben Simmons. And then also and what's crazy is like Carmelo Anthony, like great player, but like seeing remember the documentary with the Redeem Team, and he was like talking about how Kobe Bryant getting up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, working out, and then you got Carmelo Anthony like I ain't doing that. And then, but you saw like how his career went, like towards the end. LeBron did it, but like towards the end, he out the league. You know what I mean? Like nobody want to pick him up.
But that's the lottery mentality because
I'm here now. I'm me.
Well, part of it goes back to what we were talking about visions and about resolutions. Because see, when you have a limited vision, you don't aim high. So when you make it, that's it. You made it. You made it. But if you keep readjusting your vision, if you keep refocusing and saying, okay, I made it here, this is the next step, you got long term, then you keep pushing yourself. But if your goal is just to make it here, and some people's goal is just to be mediocrity.
I like that what you just said because that kind of takes us to like another point.
That's the lottery mentality.
Kind of the traps or the downfall, even having that mentality. I kind of mentioned previously those one-hit wonders, like they put all their eggs into one basket of like, oh, I just need to get on. I just need one song to get on. But they don't think or plan beyond that. You made one great song, and then now what?
But isn't that life? Yeah. Isn't that Wayne? What's up? Isn't that life? Because it's sad that I can see in all walks of life that you can use that phrase everywhere, man. Whether it's athletics, whether it's parenting. When I hear somebody tell me, well, they're gonna learn just like I learned. Or when I hear somebody say, I can't wait till my kid get 18 years old, like there's no law that says you stop parenting your kids at 18 years old. Just the phrases that we've adopted that we say, it tends to those things. You see it in, let's look at the Eagles right now. That's a perfect example. You hear enough that you're the best team, you got the talent, but until you go out there and do it, if your goal is just to be named the best team and not win the Super Bowl, you're the best team, but you gotta stay hungry.
Even just
you gotta stay hungry.
It's certainly a mindset shift,
definitely, man.
For people to start to think about things in a broader perspective. Because like even just kind of again, it's easy for us to talk about sports because that's the world that we were in and music and stuff like that. But there's plenty of people who they looking to get out. You know what I mean? They're not even looking beyond. I think it really is this mentality.
Think about it. If your goal is just to get out, get out is a block on the other side. Get out can be moved to the other side of the street. If your goal is just to get out, that means you're a person who settled for mediocrity because you just want to do just enough.
Right.
And if your goal is just to get out, most times you end up going back.
Yeah.
And no matter what it is, it's like if you work hard to make a basketball team and you stop working hard. Yeah, you on a team, but you ain't playing now. Yeah, you made a team, or next year somebody took your spot. I mean, if it's just enough, whether it's a relationship, you and your relationship, and you do just enough, they ain't gonna last long because somebody will come along is gonna do more and treat them better. Have more respect. If you do just enough, and I go back to if we go back, and I know I keep pushing the social justice thing. If you go back to the social justice thing, we're here because we did just enough. And what I mean by that, because and I know people are going to get upset when I say this. We got Brown versus Brown board education, but nobody thought about what's next. Nobody thought about, okay, we're separate but equal, but are we really equal? Because we don't have the finances to have the same schools they have. Matter of fact, we were better off. We were producing black lawyers, black doctors, black towns making money when we were separate. I'm not saying we're supposed to stay separate, but I'm saying nobody thought about the other side of the coin. Like, okay, when we get, is it really going to be equal? Because think about it. Nobody's going to go from hating you on Monday to loving you on Tuesday just because somebody passed a law. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. But we had the mentality like we made it because we won this too, and we didn't really make it. Man. And that's part of the problem. We still deal with it today. Because
and that's what I was just thinking. I was like, that's deep
man.
Because it really is a lot of people who probably share that perspective of like, we made it. You know what I mean? And again, lottery mentality. You think that because you won or you came up on a little bit of money, like that the work is done. Yep. Now you got to keep the money. Hopefully you make the money grow. Like
it's like when I was playing ball in college, and we would play these little schools and we were crushing. Schools small enough because we were very talented for our level, and then we would play like a D1 school and get crushed. And people will walk off saying like, yeah, man, well, we should have lost. So what are we playing for?
We should have lost.
We lost before we get out there because you went out the mentality, I can't beat them. That's the lottery mentality. This is my lot in life. I'm okay here. Lottery mentality says, I'm going to do the things I'm supposed to, but I'm never going to do anything great. So therefore, you settle for mediocrity. You should never go through life thinking you're stuck in this mediocre role. You shouldn't. You got to always. I wasn't the same person I was in high school. I was having this conversation with somebody today. Wayne on here to tell you I wasn't. I worked at it to change myself. I worked at it because I didn't want to settle for just a kid who grew up in North Philadelphia, man, who was just getting by. I knew I wanted more than that. My parents made sure I wanted more than that. They made sure they had a lot of mentality. At least I made it out. At least I'm better than JoJo.
And like in my mind, I'm like just thinking to myself, like, why is that mentality so prevalent?
Because it's easy.
And it's like, easy. When did that shift occur? Because I feel like it was a point in time where maybe in the era that I grew up, I just always felt like people understood, like, man, in order to get here, you got to do this.
Here I go again.
To that level.
Here I go again. I'm sorry. It was given to us, and we drank the Kool-Aid.
What was given to us?
That mentality. It was given to us because they started making excuses. They started saying, just like I go back to sports again. Black man can't play quarterback. He's not smart enough. You know how many times I heard black people repeat that? Or people who don't know why any black people say it. Now you turn around, every year more and more black quarterbacks coming out. I know people like it. They taking over the league. So, but see, that's what I meant. So we do. We kind of settle into what's given to us. Or no black man can be president of the United States. You know how many times I heard that?
My view on it is I think I always feel like an old man when I'm like social media is the issue.
It is, but that's so all social media did was magnify the issue because before it was just being spoken in barbershops and local places, but social media made like everybody can hear those conversations. I don't know,
because I feel like again in my time, like you kind of you didn't have those things, so it's like people were talking about it. You were able to.
But that's what I just said.
And be like, yo, like, what did you do to get here? And then people were like, I did this, I did that. But you can see sometimes people don't show the work; they just show a finished product.
But the reverse was when you having those conversations, you can see that. But when it's social media, you just showing, you just showing the finish, and they're not showing that because that's not what's selling. Like people don't want to see. I use church as a perfect example. All they know that the pastor get up there on Sunday, he deliver. They're not thinking about the work he put in during the week. They're not thinking about that if you in the church for thousands of people that you want him to visit everybody personally. I ain't thinking about that.
That's actually a good point.
They're not thinking about that you want him to do everybody's marriage counseling, to do everybody's fruit, do everybody's wedding. They don't think like that.
I think, or just even just taking it as like looking at the pastor, he or she, that's a man. You know what I mean? They're a regular human being. They've lived a life. They probably ain't always come out the womb as a pastor. So I think sometimes like people forget the work that he or she may have put in to get to that certain point in their lives.
And it's two sides. And again, it goes back to what I said, because now I'm holding someone else accountable for my failures.
Mm.
I can always blame somebody else because of my failures, man. I can always say, if so-and-so wouldn't have did that, if so-and-so wouldn't have said that, if so-and-so would have did this, and that's part of that mentality, because when you have that mentality, there's no accountability. And, there's very little risk. There's even less thought, and even less of an investment.
Mm.
So you kind of just go along, man. And then when you had a mentality, it's easy to blame everybody everybody's responsible for your issues. And even if it's true, how much of that do you control? Like I say it again. Here I go again with my Malcolm X, Martin Luther King hat. Think about if every black person said, I'm going to send $1, to pick an HBCU. You know how that would impact their budgets? You know what I mean? We're going to send $1 to HBCU, some HBCU, so we can create a scholarship. You know how that would change? What if every black person said, you know what? The school in our community, we're going to demand that they do better for the school. And if you don't, whoever the local politician is, you ain't got to worry about getting my vote next time.
But I mean, even with that, like, I think that's a great idea. I would love to see it happen. But then there's people who are like, they want to see it quick. They want to see, like,
that's the lottery mentality.
I've been giving my $1.
That's the lottery mentality. They want to see you. I gave them $1. What they do with it?
Like, oh my goodness, why we ain't get the next Barack Obama yet? I've been giving $2.
Okay, but even let's look at that. That was excellent. Look at Barack Obama. People thought he was going to change the world for black people, and first of all, it took more than 8 years for us to get where we are now.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to change. And in some of the stuff, we need to change ourselves. He wasn't out here shooting each other.
Nah.
He wasn't out here robbing each other. And everybody want to fix it. His kids did not attend the schools that we're allowed to become dilapidated and underperforming. We did.
Yeah.
But then when you had a lottery mentality, that's it. I'm just trying to get successful, man. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I don't care if it's a scratch off. I don't care if it's a daily double. I don't care if it's the mega lottery. I'm just in the game trying to get my reward.
I think the Obama, that is kind of a good example, because it's like, oh, we got a black president, we won, it's over. You know what I mean? Or like, no, we got a black president in office. Yeah. He's gonna erase all the things that have happened years before he even got to that point. I think that, the Obama has been a good example. Is kind of us as a community having that lottery mentality and not understanding that the work's not done. We got to invest more.
And again, I say the lottery mentality because the lottery mentality is about here and now. I think when you have a vision and you pursue a vision, and we talked about it, it's generational.
Mm-hmm.
They say 70% of people win the lottery and they're broke anyway, so we know that's not.
They lose it. They burn the money
because they don't have a plan for it.
Yeah,
it's instant gratification. When you work for something, typically you strategically figure out how to use it. When you get something instantly, it's like when people get people leave people's stuff and they get stuff in wills and stuff like that. A lot of people blow it, man, because I got this money, man. Yeah.
I think the funny part is a lot of times when you hear people say they win the lottery, the first thing they say they're doing is quitting their job.
Deion Sanders.
I'm not working no more.
Deion Sanders had me cracking up when Deion Sanders said, he said he didn't say lottery mentality, but he had it. When he was in college, when he left college, it was his first paycheck. He went down, he bought a custom-made Bentley 5-speed. Couldn't even drive a stick.
Yeah.
Couldn't even drive a stick. But he thought that was good, just like when you hit the lottery, I'm gonna get something I always wanted, not thinking I can't even use this thing. You know how many players I was watching something and all these players were saying they regretted what they spent their first check on. And it was basketball players. Some of the stuff they did was crazy with their first check. And then you got these younger guys like, nah, I invested in it. You got I'm driving the same car I was driving in college. You have some guys, but then you get some guys, they got 10 cars. They bought a mansion with 27 rooms and they got no relatives. This stupid stuff you do, because when you get the lottery mentality, it's about instant gratification because you got it instantly. You didn't work at it. But then you get some guys who, like, I look at guys in the NBA who actually become superstars. Most of them got the same story. They came from nothing and they didn't want to go back.
I know.
It's some exceptions like Kobe, but you hear people like Shaq, his dad was in the Army, Michael Jordan. These guys worked hard.
James.
Yeah.
Can't take away from what he did.
But when you got the lottery mentality, you take it for granted, man.
Yeah. So to me, I think the part of the problem is like we celebrate the results or the end product.
Oh yeah, we do.
Way too much. Like way more than like we should be celebrating the work.
Yeah.
And I feel like my age group is really prevalent when it comes to that mentality, specifically talking about like the rise of streaming, you know, with the Kai Cenats of the world and different things like that. You see them when they have, or Mr. Beast, you see them when they have millions of views, but you typically don't see the videos where they started out when they only had 100 viewers or 10 viewers.
Like that's right on point. Like especially like just kind of bringing it more into today's age. It's like that everybody want to be that viral sensation. They just see like, oh man, he got millions of followers. He making millions of dollars. But you don't know this man been doing that for 10 years. And he was doing it consistently when he had 18 followers and was getting 20 likes.
And you don't do your homework because all of them not making millions. It's just like when you were younger and the thing came out about what was happening to a lot of rap artists. Because a lot of rap artists, you know, they were going platinum, they were going gold, but they didn't own their rights. So they were eating at McDonald's and Burger King because they sold.
That's a good
point.
But
you know, and or when it came out that all the chains and cars and stuff they had, they took it back when the shoot was over. People didn't see that part. So I want to be. They just saw the part that made him look like he was all this. They didn't realize what was going on behind the scenes. You know, because instant gratification. So you got people dropping out of school. I sent you the video. The video had me crapping up when the guy was the spoken word, and he talked about the guy on the corner rapping. And he says, "Your rap sucks." You know, but that's so true because it became a way for instant gratification. Oh, I'm gonna become a rapper. I'm not planning for a future. I'm gonna become a rapper. You know, not thinking of work that those guys put in. Some of those guys, like from my age, you know, Big Daddy Kane, and you know, Run DMC. Those guys, some of those guys say college educations.
Yeah.
They just ain't do nothing and say, you know, wake up, drop out of high school. People forget that. You know, the more successful ones, they had some kind of education, but the ones who just kind of, to Chris's point, because they just kept getting robbed because they didn't know any better. You know, because again, instant gratification, you don't plan for it. You don't sit there and say, well, what I'm gonna do when I get my first $10,000? You know, what I'm gonna do when I get my first $20,000? You know, what I'm gonna do when I get my first, you know, I'm in my mind, I'm like, yo, I know what I'm gonna do when stuff start changing for me. I knew, you know, I didn't run out, you know, as much as I wanted to, I didn't run out and buy a Beamer. You know, I didn't run out, you know, and start buying Escalades or you know, I didn't because you know, don't get me wrong, I like those vehicles, but you know what? Let me think this thing through.
And I just, again, that's like a mindset that you certainly passed on to us, where it's like, you know, the work's not done. You just reached a plateau. Like now, what are you going to do to grow on that? You know what I mean? Like again, just trying to shift maybe this lottery mentality versus being that person that hits the lottery and loses it. How do you be that person that hits the lottery and continues to grow and like continues to
you got to invest in yourself, man. I still read. You know, I sit down and I read. You know, I get books. I read different books, man. You know, I listen to different people. You know, I even listen to people who I may not like, but they're successful. So I figured, okay, they got this. But that's how you grow. See, if you only do what you like, you don't grow. You don't stretch yourself. Sometimes you got to dive into something else. You know, like it's like when I was doing stuff in big time in the schools, and you know, like years ago. You know, I would sit down and listen to a lot of rap music because that's what the kids would listen to. That's how we were getting around. So I don't like it, but I will listen to it because I need to know what I'm talking about. You know, now sometimes if I hear somebody talking about a song, I'll go listen to it, and you know, it's not my forte.
It's 1,000 times worse than what you were hearing before.
Yeah, but sometimes, but you know what? Sometimes I gotta listen to it because I gotta be intelligent talking about it. I can't go to somebody and start talking about this song is bad.
I don't know how intelligent.
You know, but you can talk about. I'm not saying they go together, but you can have a conversation. I can't have a conversation about something I don't know.
I'm just thinking about the quality of our music.
So trying to be successful means sometimes you gotta get out of instant gratification. You gotta get out of, you know, well, man, if I do this, I'm gonna get this tomorrow. No. You know, you got to start thinking, and we talked about it. That's the difference between a resolution and a vision. A resolution, we make these broken behind promises that we never keep. I just talked to a group of people about this yesterday. You know, they said over 77% of Americans make New Year's resolutions, and about 32%
actually right. I was about to say, I already.
And you know who makes the most money off of them? Gyms, because I'm gonna lose weight. Yeah, I'm gonna do, and that's why they make you get the year membership. Yeah, because they don't think about long term. When I'm fired up in January and February, it's cool. But when it starts snowing in March, am I getting no 5 o'clock in the morning to go to gym? No. Or you know, like I'm fasting right now. You know, so man, do you think I want a burger? But I had to think about it before I started doing it, because you got to plan this stuff out, man. You can't think, well, I'm just going to jump. No, because I know I like to eat meat. So like, I'm not eating meat. It's driving me crazy. But you got to plan it out. When you get married, you should plan it out. It's just like you just don't meet somebody, because this is a lot of mentality. Oh, I meet somebody, I'm getting married off this feeling I have, and then a month later, you know, y'all at each other's throats. You know, because instant gratification, and that's typically the people with the lottery mentality.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of points that you made, like just kind of to, you know, help people out here in terms of like being able to maybe move away from or build upon the lottery mentality.
But you got to want to do it.
It's having a vision, one, like that's definitely part of it. Being hard working, and like just having some consistency and not necessarily being complacent. I feel like it's very easy for people to just kind of fall into like, all right, I made it, get comfortable, and you get too comfortable. I think against another point I made is like we definitely need to be better at just celebrating the work, like talking more about like, man, all the things that it took for so and so to get to that point. Like I know specifically, like even just thinking about, again, the example of LeBron James, like when I probably was like this at a point in time, just like, oh, he's like this because he's big, he's athletic, and just kind of discredit all the things that it took for him to kind of get to that point in time.
But I think when you're younger, you don't look at it that way. It's like, you know, when you're younger and
you're just like, oh, he lucky.
Yeah.
They lucky.
Well, you don't. It's not even lucky. You just don't realize. You don't realize they outworked people.
Yeah,
that's the part you don't get. You think it was all about athletics or size or different things, but it's like I went to a funeral.
Look at Lenny Cook, LeBron James.
But I went to a funeral the other day, and you know, and it's mixed emotion because you go, you bury somebody, but you see people you haven't seen in 30 years, you know, and you talk, and you know, we all laughing and joking, and I was in the top 10 players I think to come on my name, but everybody would agree with that. But ain't nobody outworked me, and I think everybody would agree with that. Yo, I was a dude that would pick up baseline and baseline. I was a dude, man, I cherished in taking up the best player on the other team. Even I don't care if he was all America. Yo, I got this dude. You know, and that's the difference, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you got the wrong mentality and you're not wanting to work at it, that's why people don't make it.
That's why I use that example of Lenny Cook and LeBron James. Like they were both very similar in regards to being 6'7", 6'8", freakishly athletic, like supposedly made all of the plays, like, you know, can shoot, can play defense, play both sides of the floor. But then like Lenny Cook was the guy who just was feeling himself. He didn't necessarily keep working. He was a little lazy. And watching that documentary they had was telling, because when he didn't make it to the league and they showed his like progress from not making it to the league and him playing overseas, he blew up. He went from like this physical specimen looking like LeBron James to looking like Escalade.
But you can tell if you watch a person, you can tell. When you watch LeBron, and I'll start with sports, he always had the fire and hunger. Even when he played in high, you watched him play. I remember the first time I saw him play, his attitude was not everybody. So everybody was out there having, when they came to play at the Spectrum or Wells Fargo, whatever it was at the time, and everybody was all the rest of the high school guys just happy to be there. Dude was like, yo, he had the scowl on his face. He was all business, and he stayed like that. Even when when it was over, he went out there. You know, it was the same thing about Kobe. Mm-hmm. Kobe won. You know, when they won, he was jumping up and down, but he wasn't out there celebrating because he hit a foul shot. He went out there doing cartwheels because he got a block shot. No, and I think that's another part of it is, you know, we get so caught up in a moment that we don't think long term. And I think that's why you see it. And, you know, I see the people who in business. People want to be in business, you know, and they think, yeah, all they see is I want to make a lot of money. They don't understand. Yeah. They don't understand. Okay, how do I keep my money?
It's gonna be some sleepless nights, some late nights.
Yeah, or how do I invest my money? How do I stop people from taking my money? You know, and I can go down the list of things that no matter what you want to do to be successful at, you got to have, you know, you can't go into it with a lottery mentality. You can't go to it thinking it's always going to be instant gratification, because you said this earlier. I think this is so key. Sometimes you have success early, and then it fades, bro. Then you got to really start working hard. You know, it's just like you said, the person who you come out with a hit the first time, that becomes expectation. So even though your next thing may be very good, it still ain't good enough. You know, so I think, but if you got the lottery mentality, you're not wanting to work to keep that up. So that's the problem.
Kind of I guess a question, or just maybe a different approach or a way of looking at the lottery mentality is like what do you think about the people who they take shortcuts to get there? Like, I think there are some individuals where, you know, they may take the easy route to get somewhere just to get to a certain point.
now I'm gonna go to my wrestling analogy because this is my favorite analogy. There were so many wrestlers, and Wayne, I don't know if you're into wrestling, but there were so many wrestlers in my era, who took steroids, and because they went into wrestling was different because they took steroids, but they dying now. If you see them now, they're dying, or they look all shriveled up. They can't because now they're paying the price. But for instant gratification, for that short window of fame, instead of working hard and going a period of time, no, they weren't going to the gym. I'm just gonna take some steroids, man, and pump a little bit, not realizing that I gotta pay for this one day with my health.
Yeah.
And baseball was doing it, but the difference in baseball was, they were doing it. They weren't like out there slamming each other, man, trying to flip people over. They weren't trying to have muscles and on top. That's not what they were doing. So wrestling though, they got you got on shorts and you got no shirt on. So they took a shortcut. And you every time I see one now, they shriveled up, man. They got this, they got that. Lyle Alzado was before your time. He was a defensive end for the Oakland Raiders, and he was a beast. Coming to find out he was on steroids, man. So when he stopped playing and he had to get off the strip, he like died almost instantly, man. He shriveled up, man. His hair started, but when he was playing, everybody looked like, dude, he big buff. So you got to pay for that. And so that's that's like the liar in town. Put everything in this bucket because I want to get it now. No matter what it takes, the problem with it is you may get it now, but you got to pay for it later.
It's actually funny. Like I just thought about that. You get there quick. It's just like the lottery. You get there quick. People don't think about paying taxes.
Or they don't think it's going to run out or anything.
When I start a business, I got to hire people. My business grow. That's why a lot of businesses fail because they don't think about it growing. They don't. You could be knocking out the box, selling stuff out the trunk of your car. Mm-hmm. Then you move up to the next level, but you never thought about that you had to pay rent, that you had to have insurance now, people don't think about that. Now I'm gonna sell my stuff for the same price. No, you're not, because right now you're in the trunk of your car. But when you got to start paying rent, you got to start paying insurance, you got to start paying the there has to be a profit margin. What's that? So those are things that you got to think about. And I think when you get so caught up and focused on the here and now, and don't get me wrong, you should enjoy life.
Here and now and quick.
One thing you said is absolutely true. I think you should celebrate your victories. You should. You should take time to pat yourself on the back. Not stay there.
Celebrate the work.
But the victories are part of the work. You should take time to celebrate that. Look, you know what? I made it this far. I made it, like when I went back, I was looking at the history of our podcast, and it was funny because it was 0, then it was like 30 for a while, then it shot up to like 75, and then it shot up to 100, then it went to 2016.
Gotta just be consistent.
But it's easy to quit when you see the 0.
Yeah.
It's easy to quit, and some people do. Some people are like, hey, and I remember you both saying it, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. But there's some people like, if I'm not seeing it now, they quit. And it's in every area, it's in every walk of life, man. And I think, somebody posted the other day, this is why I'm off Facebook. I only post for the show because hopefully they ain't watching, but I don't care. The dumbest thing I ever heard. They go, well, if I was the Eagles, I wouldn't even go to the playoffs.
What?
So I still, my summary response was, I said, you do realize that's why they play the game. To play the game was the ultimate try.
You play to win the game.
And nobody goes in. If everybody says the same thing in every sport. I just got to get in. Now, it don't work for everybody. Everybody don't turn it around. Yeah. But and then my next point was the best team hardly ever wins the Super Bowl. If you go back and look at the Super Bowl, the Kansas City wasn't the best team in that Super Bowl. The Eagles were. They lost. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they were not better than the Patriots. They were not better than the Patriots. When the Giants beat the Patriots, they were not better than the Patriots. When the Patriots beat the Rams, they were not better than the Rams. But that's the same thing in life, though, man. You got, but it's true. So the best team don't always win, but that's the problem with us, man. We get caught up in this instant gratification of what we see. All that glitters is not gold. That we fall for stuff like that. And so somebody's mentality was, well, why go? Because you're not guaranteed to win. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah. I mean, I think just kind of related to the.
And if you're watching, I'm sorry.
But no, I think that's like spot on. Like, I think everyone's not guaranteed to go. But then, like, I think part of it just kind of thinking outside of the sports realm. And again, maybe taking it to social media because that's where a lot of us live in that world right now.
Yeah.
I think we just see what people have and just like, man, I want that.
Yeah.
And don't put even thought into like, man, what did it take to get that or get there?
Or what did you sacrifice?
What did they sacrifice to get there?
Man.
I think people have the perspective of like, oh, you didn't have to give up anything. Like that you just kind of made things happen. You made
no,
the
they think it wasn't that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. So I think kind of in the world that I'm in, like in terms of like writing and trying to produce content, like I've been writing and self-taught for like 10 years now. You know, but then finally getting to a point now where it's like, all right, it's reached a certain level where it's beginning to yield some benefits. And like now it's how do I continue to grow on that?
But that's what, and I use my company as an example. I set a goal for X amount of money I wanted to make last year. Crushed it. You know, but this is a perfect example. I had some contracts modified because of the time frame, you know, because of economics, because we're getting near the end. So they decreased the revenue. You know, so I could have just quit and I ain't doing this no more. You know what? I'm modifying and now I got a few other people call me. You know, so that's how life works, man. You know, everything is not in one boat. Everything is not based on one ship leaving the dock. But if you quit, you know, after the first ship leave, you jump in and drown. You're not thinking when another boat gonna come. And that's the problem with a lot of us, man. We got the instant gratification. If I don't get it now, I'm never gonna get it. And that's crazy. The still word for Bill Cosby is the stupidest thing I ever heard, but that most of us have it. And I talk to people, that's their attitude. Well, I tried. So what?
I tried.
Yeah, but that's what they'll tell you. I tried, man. You know, nothing works out for me. Well, tell me what you can do. Well, I did this, I did that, and it didn't work out. First of all, you know, I said this to somebody yesterday. Yo, you getting up 10 o'clock in the day. That's why you're not succeeding.
Yeah.
You waking up. I said, you know how many people apply for that job before you even got up? And that's not even counting the people inside the company that knew about the job before they even hit the posting. That's why you didn't get the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because the later you go, the better you have to be. People understand that the later you wait in the process, the better you have to be.
But again, that's kind of the lottery mentality. They're not thinking about like getting up and having better odds. They're just thinking, as long as I throw my hat in the ring, I got a chance.
Well, when I had somebody tell me, this is my favorite thing too. When I had somebody says, well, you know, you take losing too serious. You know
what?
You know, well, this is my least favorite statement. And I'm so tired of hearing people say this, and I hate this because when they say, you know, it's okay to fail. It's never okay to fail. It's a part of life, but it's never okay.
I think it's
we gotta stop saying it. Yeah, but we make people think like, so now that's how you lower the bar.
You just accept
you lower the bar because you should always feel some kind. You don't quit, you don't give up, but I always feel some kind of way.
I don't like it.
I always feel, but because you know why? That feeling makes you self-examine yourself. That feeling makes you go back, take a look at yourself. What do I need to do different? When you got the lottery mentality, you don't care. But when you really say, man, you invest in something, you put your all into it, let me go back and look at myself. Forget what they did. What could I have done differently? How can I be successful? You know, I do it every year. I do it. Every year I sit back twice a year. 3 times a year, actually, beginning, middle, and end. I assess myself. You know, like now, people's, I'm fasting, I'm giving up some things. I ain't doing it because I like it, because I hate it, because I'm giving up the stuff I like. But I'm doing it because it's discipline, and it's helping me refocus. You know, and to be successful, to get away from the lottery mentality, it takes discipline, and you got to focus. You know, lottery. I just put my $5 down. I'm rolling. I ain't thinking about until the numbers come up on the screen. But when you invest your time and energy in something, you're paying attention to it. It's like if I plant a rose bush, I think I'll plant it and walk away and just never come back to it and come back in the spring and say, no, you water it, you do what you need to do. Yeah. And that's the same thing you got to do with your dream. You can't have a lot of time. You got to water it, you got to fertilize it, you got to prune it, you got to do all that.
And that's why it's like, even like kind of what you saying, all those things, it needs to be a shift from that mentality to more of the investor's mentality.
But it needs to be taught. We, as adults, we got to start teaching the next generation because, back to your point, everybody's being raised on social media now.
Yeah.
They're not. You just mentioned the conversations that you were able to have. Talk to people and learn things. Now everybody's going to social media for that, or Google,
TikTok,
and then they argue. Boy, they crack me up because they argue now. Oh man, I saw this on TikTok, dude. Come on, man, you saw somebody doing a video. You know, I was talking to somebody now who I'm dealing with at work. It's the same thing, man. You know, every time I say something, you know, well, my friends, yo, your friends are unemployed. Your friends drink. Your friends do all the stuff you trying to get away from. They dump it in a bag of rocks, and you listen to them for advice. When are you going to stop doing it? Because you listen to your friends and you get to, and I'll say this, if you listen, this is so true. Yo, if you do what someone else is doing, you get what they get.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. So if you hang around people with a lot of mentality, that's going to be your mentality. Because if you do get anything, they're going to bleed you dry.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going to ask you, why are you doing that? It don't take all that. Why are you wasting your time? It ain't never going to happen to anybody. In fact, they'll give you 15 reasons why. So that's the problem. That's another problem that we have. Sometimes you got to say, you know what? Peace, that's on you. You know, my mentality was always this. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm going to get mine. That's always been my mentality. It's always been my mentality. Win, lose, fail, or draw, I'm going to get mine. My thing was, as Les Brown said, yo, if I get knocked down, I make sure I fall on my back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I always had that mentality. It was never my mind. There's times I came home beat up, man. I was like, man, this is driving me crazy. But you know what? Good night's sleep, right back at it the next day, man.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of thinking about this mentality and how detrimental it is. Like,
killing generations.
Yeah, bro. I definitely feel like it's just plaguing our community, not just our community, society as a whole. And I think people kind of get locked in sometimes on just like, I just need to get here. I just need to get here, without thinking like, all right, now what? What happens when you get here? Or what does it even actually take to get here? Or like sometimes you might have to pivot. It's not going to be necessarily just as linear.
What happens
if you're listening to me right now? I challenge you. Ask 5 of your friends, where is where? Most people don't know. You said I'd get here. Most people don't know where here is. They don't know. It's like I do this and I do it in corporate America all my work. Hey, who wants to be happy? Everybody raise their hand. Who wants to be successful? Everybody raise their hand. Okay, tell me what that looks like. And people start mumbling, they start regurgitating stuff, or they mention stuff that's not going to make them happy. Well, I'm happy if I get a new car. Okay, that's going to last till the car ain't new no more. Yeah. I'll be happy if my wife did that. But see, no, that's a mistake, because you count another human being to supply your happiness. That's not happiness. That's contentment in a moment. Why be successful? That's not success. You know, you want instant gratification. You know, or you named a bunch of stuff, but all the stuff you named could be taken away from you. Does that mean you're no longer successful now?
Yeah. And I think kind of the point that you made is just people living in this instant gratification. It just kind of plateaus. You know, they get to their point, and some of people settle and just like, yeah, I made it. This is all I wanted out of this.
Wayne is like he said, he got some good points there. You got to keep going, man. And you have to. You know, you got to. But I think stick-to-itiveness is something that we don't have. You know, and it's tough because we quit, man. Everything says quit. You know, you see that. You know, you mentioned Ben Simmons. You know, you know, I know people are going to disagree. That's how I feel when I look at the Eagles. I feel like, yo, man, they just quit. They like, look, man.
I blame that one on coaching. But
but I'm just saying. But I see it when I watch the body language. I watch how they play, man. It's like, yo, you don't go from being 10-1 to this bad.
Those games were ugly to win.
Yeah, but when they were winning, you saw different body language. When they were winning, I go back to the Buffalo game when they take Brandon Graham saying, yo, we're gonna win this game. When they were losing and Buffalo had the ball, he out there, yo, we're gonna win this game.
It was still
went to jail. Yeah, but they had a different attitude. Yeah. They were fighting. Now it's like, man, we wait for something to go wrong. Not that we wait how we gonna win it. Now it's okay, what's gonna go wrong? And that has a lot to do with it. You know, that's how powerful your mentality is, and we just don't understand it, man. The world understands it. Why do you think they advertise certain things in certain neighborhoods? You ain't gonna go into a white neighborhood and see billboards about alcohol and stuff. You're just not gonna do it. But you ride through our neighborhoods,
if you do, it's a seltzer.
You're gonna see it. You don't see no vaping signs and no vaping shops. You know, you don't see that. You know, but you see them you see it in the hood.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard Kevin Hart say this. Like, you see the check cashing place right next to the beer and wine.
Yeah. And you know what the part that people leave out? It's in the system where you're not teaching these kids financial literacy. So you're not teaching these kids to go to the bank. They ain't teaching these kids to open a bank account. So what they do, you go to what you know. You know what you see. So they go to the check cashing place.
And then again, I think it's like why I said this
lottery mentality.
It's
though.
so deep rooted in our
Yeah.
community because it's like, man, what can I do quickly just to get out of here, you know, or just get from this area.
But people use check cashing plays.
And even with that, we
and
always
they're
bet on
adults.
the same thing. It's
They go-
basketball and sports.
But people, they want their money now, so they go to check cashing plays. They don't want to go to the bank. So they rather go to the check cashing place, pay somebody
That's it. They take a fee.
the cash it because they don't want to go wait in line at the bank and you wait in line to take it.
I was about to say, you wait in line at the check cash.
But it's faster because typically it's right in my neighborhood. I don't have to worry about going to the bank, which is not my neighborhood. I don't have to have a savings account. It's no effort. I just go there, cash it, and I pay this guy. I'm okay with it.
Up that thing right in
But
there.
so even if I got to pay due $25, I still got $75 though.
No crazy.
That's how they look at it. They not look at it, that's money I work for. They're looking at it, instead of giving them $25, I could be banking that same $25 every week. We don't think like that. Wow, because we want instant gratification.
Yeah, and I think again, for something I said earlier, we need to be better at celebrating the work. Like I really do feel like we need to start like really, highlighting those areas of people that have kind of put in, the grind to get to that point of where they are at. I think we celebrate, we give people their roses when it's too late. You know what I mean? At the very end. Like we don't, like for instance, like Denzel been out here forever, man. But it's just like nobody's talking about a lot of his early movies unless you kind of grew up around that time.
The first
or some of the early movies weren't that successful.
The first thing he applied for in show business was a play on Broadway. And I laughed because he laughed too. It was a musical with the Temptations in it, so naturally he didn't get it. They told he wasn't good enough. But check this out. When he came to Denzel, he went back there and did Fences.
Yeah, killed it.
He went back there and did Fences. So just think about that. He could have quit when that same place said, "Yo, you're just not good enough," but he did. He reshaped his dream, retooled his dream. Instead of saying, "I just want to get into show business," I realized, I can't sing and dance. I got to focus on what I can do. And sometimes that's what it takes. See, a lot of mentality is I just want it. I don't care how I get it. There's no strategy. Like I said, I'm just waiting for my numbers. But when you think about it strategically, what am I good at? What can I get a return on? And I get it. If you can get a good return on limited investment, that's cool. But too many of us, our limited investment is we just want to put some money down and walk away. We're not working. I go back to the rose bush. We don't do those things. We want to plant something and walk away and come back in as a tree. Not realize the years that it takes to water it, the wind is going to hit that tree, man, and branches is going to get broken, man. That tree don't go through some stuff. That's what it does. Yeah. But we just want to come back and it's a big old oak tree.
Or even like your garden, you still got to tend to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Make sure to get the sunlight.
Right. Yeah. You still got to tend to it and make sure that the necessary things are lined
But,
up for it to continue to grow.
And I'll say this: if I teach you that, I can't keep you down. Yeah. If I start teaching that to everybody, man, if I make that a part of school, I make that a part of education.
It's intentional.
Because I know parents are not teaching it. So if I start teaching it, if I start teaching kids about pay yourself first, financial literacy, I start teaching kids about opening a savings account, I start teaching kids about investments and stuff like that, then all of a sudden I'm breaking the cycle of poverty. And when I start breaking the cycle of poverty, when I start breaking that lottery mentality, now it's costing me. Because all these folk ain't playing. Like, how many people go in the store and just buy a lottery ticket? No, you usually go in the store, you buy a cake, you buy a so this thing like triple down economics, man. And people don't understand. You do.
I don't know. At 7-Eleven, they be lined up right there just for that.
But most people don't. Most people will do it, but then they'll get a cup of coffee.
The reason I'm saying people putting their last on it.
Yeah. Some, but if you go in there, a lot of times I go in there, man, people got a cup of coffee. While they waiting in line and all the stuff right there, they pick up while they waiting in line, man. Like I've been to 7-Eleven and I'm getting something, and the line is long, people waiting to play, and they'll pick up something.
Guess it depends on where you're at too.
They'll pick up they'll pick up something. Most people when they go in stores, they very seldom. There's some who do, but a lot of people they buy something. Yeah. It's like that's why they put the stuff strategically where it is. They're not gonna put a cheesesteak by the line. Where you get things, but they'll put donuts, they'll put a tasty cake, they put something quick because you're going to grab something to go. And there's some people who may not have money, but people with money, they spend it.
They put it right by the door. The lottery and the gambling machines. Like they got the lot machine.
Right pass on the way out.
No, right in the door. So as soon as you come in there, right there.
Yeah.
You don't even got to worry about going
but you got to pass on the way out though, because you come out, you got your change in your hand.
That's the only thing they're going in there for.
But I'm saying, but it's
sitting there all day.
But I'm saying it's only $1. Yeah, but the most money they make is not them. They make money off the 100 people that come in and think I'm putting it's only $1. It's only $5. I just bought something for $15. I got $5 back. Now people do that. Oh yeah,
I'm sure was that a thing? Like they just started doing that, putting the slot machines.
Nah, because it wasn't legal. It just
right.
Illegal.
So it's like literally you'll walk in there and it's people who spend their day in there.
We were talking about this earlier, and I took the same thing to your mom. And I used a perfect example of the lottery mentality and how it didn't work out. Rite Aid, when they were talking about putting liquors, giving liquor license to convenience stores, Rite Aid strategically opened up stores in all the hoods. They did. And they never got the liquor thing, so they closed it. I'm not saying that's the only reason they did it, but I'm saying so they took a hit. I remember somebody telling me what the strategy was. Because why? Because they know people in the hood buy alcohol. That's what they do. That's why you see those little stores, the Asian stores, they get
somebody going in.
Yeah, people going in. So you go just look at marijuana. Yeah, down south look at marijuana, whatever you want to call it. No, it was illegal. People lost cars, they seized stuff, all that stuff. Now it's legal. Because they can make money off it now. Yeah. So now instead of going to the corner and getting it from somebody, now you can walk in these nice little places, man, with well lit, man, it's nice furniture. So again, it's the mentality of us, man.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a shift. Like definitely, we need to move from the lottery mentality to the investors mentality. Like it's so many people who like waste that money putting it onto the lottery, hoping that they get that quick win, quick, easy money, easy come up. Well, when they could easily take that money and you could have invested that and won that type of way on a slow, long grind.
But the thing you got to understand about that, and this comes to this unity, because people think, for instance, when I was younger and I missed the boat, I knew people say, look, man, I got this investment, I got to put $5,000 in. I don't have $5,000. So if you give me $1,000, you get 1/5 of the return. People did that. People don't do that anymore now. They don't, and they think I got to put the whole $5,000 in because I got to get all the money myself. They don't think, well, maybe if 4 of us get together, pool our money together. And I'm not saying with people you don't know. I'm talking about people you trust, if you got a written agreement, whatever. But there's so many different ways to invest. We don't think about that. Even if it becomes a stock, that stock is $100. Okay, you get 4 of your friends, put up $25 each, or put up $100 each. You can buy multiple stocks. Stock go up to $1,000. So, but there's so many other ways that you could do it. But if you got the lottery mentality, you want it now. You're not waiting for the stock.
Right.
You ain't waiting.
People don't want to be uncomfortable. Like they don't want to feel like they putting money into an investment that's going to take a long time. Even though they don't realize that
it's more uncomfortable to be broke and not be at ease.
Right. And you're putting money into something that may not necessarily even yield any type of real long-lasting benefits. Like that's what's crazy about the lottery is so many people waste that money on the potential of something that may not necessarily happen, or most likely not.
Think about it. If you played the lottery for $100 a month, $100 a week. Think about it. You did it for $100 a week. It's 52 weeks. That's just 1 year.
Yeah, put that on some.
That's just 1 year.
Invest in yourself.
That's just 1 year.
Pick up a trade. You know what I mean? Do something. You could double. It's so many different things you could do.
Just think about it. If you did $100 a week for 52 weeks, just think that's $5,200.
Man, and like
$10 and $400. I'm just it's crazy how much money that people don't think, because people don't think of it in terms of the totality, and they think of it as it's only $100. It's only $100. It's only $100. But think about it. Or if you took that money, if you took $5,200 and bought stock.
Yeah. I think it needs to be a mindset shift. And I think it starts with maybe us having this conversation and just celebrating the work and celebrating people that have put in the work. I think we as a community need to start really having those types of conversations, and it was brought up tonight, Mr. Winning, thank you for dropping that, but it needs to be on kind of our parents and our elders teaching and relaying that stuff to our kids. Nothing's going to come easy. Nothing's going to be quick. It's going to require some work. Invest in yourselves. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Another episode of Above Average Black Men. Thank you guys for tuning in on Podbean, man. We greatly appreciate you, man. You can catch the reruns of these shows on Podbean, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. We're there. We're out there, man.
My dad hit me with the music. It's kind of crazy. He said, "Let's wrap this up."
Because I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna look at it and say, "You see what time it is?"
I already saw the time. I was like, you know what, we're flowing. But thank you guys for another great episode of Above Average Black Men.
Like, follow, subscribe, share, comment. Above Average Black Men.
And he turned it up.
No, wrap
Wrap it up.
We're on all platforms. Shout out to all the people that listen on Podbean.
Yeah,
man.
We've been getting a lot of interaction.
That was awesome. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Facebook, YouTube, all the platforms that we're
Everywhere
on.
too, yeah, my bad.
Help us continue to grow. We don't want to leave you out. Like, follow, subscribe. We got that in.
Are we on TikTok too?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, actually,
we are.
Yeah, I did.
I feel bad.
Because I always
I didn't make
forget
a
that.
TikTok. Yeah.
Oh,
We're on
'cause
TikTok as well too.
You know what? I always
Above
forget
Black
that,
Men.
and then I don't know why I forget.
It's so many platforms
You gotta
because
play around with
TikTok.
it more, you know.
We gotta get there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a good night, everybody. See you next week. Send us some topics. Do that. Is people that have joined.
No, I'm actually watching it.
I know. That's up.